Hey guys, Rich with Project F30, and I'm just kind of driving around and doing some thinking. And you know, one of the things that I thought about was how much I love the JB4. So I know a lot of folks have heard about the JB4. A lot of people are thinking about running it, but they're always hesitant, right? So let's give you 5 reasons of why you should love the JB4. 1, Burger Motorsports has done a really great job with creating a piggyback tune before all tunes for this car, right? Now, there are some limits to piggybacks, but let's give you the pros. So it's easy to connect. When you buy this tune, you take about 30 minutes to put it in, 45 maybe if you're taking your time. But you're connecting to 2 sensors and you're running some wires, and then you're done. You can crank the car back up and you're ready to roll. You're not spending hours and hours and hours installing stuff onto the car, installing hardware, software, whatever. And you can immediately put it on a map that's set for you and you're ready to go, right? So I love that. 2, adjustability. You can adjust everything in one of 3 ways. You can hook a laptop to it, which is obviously the most cumbersome. You can use the mobile app that has some really cool functionalities, and you should check that out in my other video. And then 3, you can use the steering wheel controls, which at this point, there's not a comprehensive tune out there that you can control from your fingertips on the fly. And that's really cool, right? So, you know, right on your gauge cluster, you are changing maps, you are moving some parameters, you are deleting codes. You're able to do a lot right from your fingertips without having to hook a laptop or a phone to it, which is absolutely brilliant, right? 3 is cost. Right now, tunes out there can be fairly expensive. I mean, you're looking at some tunes that are upwards of $800 plus flash tune platforms. Now, while you might be able to control a lot more with the flash tune, for basic operation and raw power, you cannot beat the value of the JB4 and for the ease of use. So that's a really, really huge factor. Number 4, product support. So product support comes directly from Terry, who is the creator and the owner of Burger Motorsports, and he is the one who is hands-on developing tunes. If you have an issue, jump on to N54tech.com, and then you'll be able to directly speak to him. And it's pretty cool because you can send data logs up to him and say, Terry, you know, I don't know what's going on here. Can you look at these? He will take some time to get back to you at times because he's had a lot of folks asking the same thing. But bear in mind that you're speaking directly to the creator of the tune that you put in your car, right? Number 5 is something that folks might not expect, and this is why a lot of folks use the JB4 as a front-end piggyback and then use a back-end flash if they're looking to gain some of that customization from your flash tunes, right? So with the JB4, you can set safety parameters. You can ensure that if something is out of line, the JB4 is monitoring it and it says, wait a minute, that's not good, we could seriously damage the engine, and then the JB4 kicks over and kicks the safety over and changes it to a lower map and immediately brings down the likelihood of you tearing up something seriously with your motor. And that's honestly why a lot of folks use JB4 and then use a back-end flash, because they want that customization, but then they also want the safety features. Now, I can list a whole bunch of other things about the JB4, and I know I said I was going to go with my top 5, and those honestly are my top 5. You can use it as a water methanol injection controller, and honestly, for a tune plus a controller, you cannot beat the price. And if you already spent the money on it, and you do end up going with the back end flash or just using the JB4 in the background in general, then it's really great that you have a methanol controller if you decide to go that route. It does have some really good benefits if you are looking to run ethanol mixes as well, but in my opinion, Flash Tunes can be a better platform for tuning yourself with the use of E85, so just be very mindful of that. Well, now that I've talked about the things that I really love about the JB4, which honestly, it's a lot. It's a wonderful tune. It's the innovator. It's one of the originals. Like, it's a good tune. There are some things that kind of bother me and some advantages that you'll get from Flash Tunes, and I don't have a direct comparison at this point, but what I will say is that there are a couple things that drive me nuts, and with any tune, you're going to have some pros and cons and some advantages and disadvantages from there, right? One of the things that drives me nuts about the JB4 is it's a wonderful tune at launch, right? But you don't really feel that power kick in until about 3,000 RPMs. If you put a downpipe on, okay, yeah, you'll probably get into power maybe at like 2,700 RPMs, but you really don't feel the spool hit until it's about 3,000 RPMs. Downpipe might help accelerate a little bit, but it's a very, very nitpicky thing. I came from naturally aspirated muscle cars where you just had immediate power throughout the power band, and when you get into a turbo car and that's something that you deal with, you know, it's you have to make sure that your boost is built before you take off, or you have to make sure that if you're hitting a passing gear on the highway or something like that, then you will feel that surge in power, which is great in some aspects, but I would like that to be a little bit earlier since my car is a daily driver, okay? Which kind of brings me to my next point is the JB4 is really great again from launch, but I really wish that the power delivery was a little bit smoother. That's one of the big reasons that I actually want to try out like a boot mod or an active auto work, because the Flash Tunes have so much better control over timing and things like that because they're altering the DME. The JB4 works by taking those two sensors and basically tricking the sensors into altering the signals that's sent through the motor, and thereby altering the way that your power is delivered and the boost that is changed. So it is a very, very minor thing, but when you want power and you drop your pedal, you want power and you want it to be immediate, right? So the biggest challenge that the JB4 has had was to make that power absolutely immediate and to kick on right when you need it. It's not far behind, and sometimes it's right on time, but I'd like to feel that power delivery to be a lot smoother. What I mean by that is, like, sometimes you'll hit the pedal and then you start feeling what you think is kind of a hesitation, but what it really is your turbos are spooling up and the power delivery, it's altering the signal and it's changing some things around so that you can basically run like a bat out of hell, which is fine. But it is a valid concern. N3, you know, it is a box that you have to hide underneath your motor, underneath your engine bay, rather than not having anything there. So there are some pros and cons to that. If you have a warranty, the JB4 is easily removable. Again, quick fix. The codes are basically shadow codes. Like, they could be detected if someone were to really dig into it and read the car. If they really wanted to find out that something had been there, they could do it. But on the onset, there's not really anything that would alert them straight away because it hasn't changed anything in the DME. So you're safe for the most part when it comes to warranty claims if you were to ever need one. And that was one of the biggest appeals for the JB4. Same token is, if we are basically talking about the disadvantage of the JB4, it is the fact that it does not have control over the DME, which I mentioned earlier, And then more importantly is you do have to take it off because it's an added thing that's not supposed to be under that engine bay technically. So you do have to install it and uninstall it every single time that you have a service if you bring it back to the dealer. If you have a mod-friendly dealer, that would be awesome. I don't. So I had to take it off before every service. Now, with that being said, it's not complicated, but it is something that you have to do. Flash tunes you don't have to, but with the flash tune, it is more easily noticed, right? So there you go. Those are the only big downfalls to the JB4, and honestly, I don't really think they're that big. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I am Rich from Project F30. If you have something that you want me to do a video on, please definitely leave that in the comments. Feel free to subscribe if you're looking for more DIYs, or if you're just looking for some content around some cool stuff to do to your Beamer. That's always a big thing. But I really, really appreciate every single one of you that are out there supporting me and also wanting to join the movement of modding your car and customizing your car. That's why I got into this, and I'll continue that. So anyways, hopefully I'll see you again, and I'm excited to make the next video. And this is Rich from Project F30 signing off. Thanks.